In this bonus video, I'll explain how you can develop your agency specifically when you fear something, and it's through the exposure strategy. When you lack agency, you might specifically avoid certain situations because you fear them. You fear rejection, failure, falling short, or the judgment of others. If you've noticed a situation has gotten to this point, it's because the self-doubt and lack of agency is leading you to experience fear of anxiety, leading you to become apprehensive of entering into a similar situation in future. The problem here is that this becomes a recurring habit, turning a once slightly uncomfortable situation into one that causes large amounts of fear and anxiety. This is where the exposure strategy is effective. It's based on exposure therapy, which is used as a treatment for anxiety by licensed professionals. Leaning on these insights, the exposure strategy allows you to slowly desensitize yourself from the thing that you fear by easing into it and gradually exposing yourself to it. You eventually become comfortable with the self-doubt, the not knowing, and the uncertainty. So how does it work? It's based on the idea of fear extinction. Our brain habituates to stimuli when it can predict what comes after it. For example, you're on the subway and the person next to you sneezes loudly. The first time it happens, you're startled. The second time, it doesn't affect you because you know there's no threat. It's just a loud noise. You've become desensitized. This strategy helps you retrain your brain through extinction processes. It involves training your brain to stop sending the fear signal when there isn't any real danger or threat. Step 1, list all the situations or tasks that cause anxiety, fear, or negative self-talk. Step 2, create a fear hierarchy, where you arrange these items into a list from least anxiety-provoking to most anxiety-provoking. Step 3, capture your responses. Starting with the least feared situation, write about what aspects cause you the most discomfort, how it causes you discomfort, and the thoughts that typically accompany the situation. For example, a number of years ago, a senior client stepped up into a general manager role within a Fortune 500 during the lockdowns of the pandemic. She was experiencing anxiety when it came to speaking up during video meetings. Working through the exposure strategy, she wrote, "When I come to speak up in department meetings, I get really nervous. My heart races and my throat dries up. I always forget my train of thought, and I'm so worried I'll say something foolish and everyone's going to judge me for whatever I say. So I don't speak up. I stay quiet." Step 4, expose yourself to the things you fear, starting at the bottom of your list, the least feared, and working your way up. You're going to develop a step-by-step process to implement this feared activity into your life at least a couple of times a week. With our client, her self-doubt was triggered by the thought of speaking up in video meetings. This was her process. Step 1, notice self-doubt and anxiety arise and let it pass. Step 2, outwardly acknowledge points made by others. For example, "I agree," or "great idea." Step 3, follow up with peers after the meeting to discuss points. Step 4, prepare something to share in the next meeting. Step 5, share something impromptu in the following meeting. Once you're more comfortable with your first item in your hierarchy, you're free from that debilitating anxiety associated with it, you can then move on to the next item. By relying on the exposure strategy, each exposure item never feels too overwhelming because of the mastery of the previous item that you've tackled. With each mastery, you'll gain greater agency, which will help you in future because you've been there, done that, and you were safe. Now, of course, it is worth mentioning that if you do experience serious anxiety, we encourage you to seek the support of a trained professional who can help. We wish you all the best of luck with the exposure strategy.